And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm back with another video. Second video of the day. We're going to be talking about the market because it has, I don't want to say crashed because things are really interesting right now, but because of the super PACs today, we've had a lot of market fluctuations, so I definitely wanted to make a video to address that. So drop a like on this video, comment down below what you think of both the super PACs and the market as a whole today, and I'm going to be going into depth on a lot of different cards. So, look, talk about XP for a second. So if you've already got Kawhi, just skip forward about a minute and a half. Now's a good time, especially if you have not been really trying, just to get as much XP as possible. And if you don't want to shell out a bunch of MT to do so, I recommend just grabbing a lot of the lower tier cards that are extremely cheap right now. A lot of your Amethyst, especially like weird Amethyst that you wouldn't have picked up before, like Scott Skiles or Charlie Scott, anyone named Scott, realistically. Even some diamonds like Gilbert Arenas and a lot of guys like that, because they're all extremely cheap right now. If you guys are not aware from watching my pack opening video earlier, which I'll link, these super packs are garbage, like straight up garbage. And I'll show you how garbage they are when we look at the market, because you'll see just an overwhelming amount of rubies, amethysts, and diamonds, and just see like a ridiculously low amount of pink diamonds and opals. So either way, like I said, Season 4 Super Packs came out today. We still got two other packs, Throwback Specific and Lunar New Year. So all those cards in those two packs are going to be even cheaper. All the cards are back. Tracy McGrady, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, etc. All the pink diamonds, every card that came out in Season 4, except for one group of cards, which I will talk about in a bit. Now, these packs are trash. Like, for the most part, you're going to be pulling rubies and amethysts. Like, I got lucky and pulled a couple pink diamonds, but they weren't even really that great. Like Hakeem, you'll probably see him stay right around 200,000. Like I said, we still got the West Coast wave of people that might open packs in the next, 2 hours, but it's hard to really tell because we've seen the market crash, go up, crash, and go up like 3 times today, so it's hard to really predict exactly what's going to happen with it. But if you are in the market for someone like Hakeem, just know he'll probably be down about 30K from what he was a couple days ago. So you could probably pick him up right around 200K. Could be a little more, could be a little less. It just kind of depends. We are seeing a lot of Hakeems get pulled here, or at least put up. So I'm guessing Hakeem and Jimmy Butler are two of the opals that dropped the most out of all of them. Yeah, we're seeing a pretty good amount of Jimmy Butlers. If you're a big Jimmy Butler fan, it's hard for me to recommend cards because everyone's so different as far as what releases they like, their game style, etc. So it's hard to say, yeah, Jimmy Butler's absurdly good, you should go get him. I can't usually do that, but if you're in need of a really good 3-and-D cone, Jimmy Butler's one of the best in the game. I personally like Jimmy Butler's both playstyle and jump shot a lot, so he's one of the cards that I enjoy. But going into Season 5, I don't know if it's necessarily worth, for someone who's not a Jimmy Butler fan, to go spend 150, 200K on this Jimmy Butler right now. Totally fine card, and if you're a big fan of the player himself, absolutely, go right ahead and pick him up. But for someone just looking for kind of a meta card that's going to be very, very good, regardless what your playstyle is, etc., I don't know if Jimmy Butler is going to be that for you. Now, if you're looking for some cheaper guys, Glenn Rice is legitimately 10K. Like I said, all the diamond and below cards are going to be really, really cheap because they're dropping pretty often in these super packs and they're kind of flooded in the market. You can see, Glenn Rice is going to be legitimately 10K, possibly even less by the end of tonight. Which is crazy because he's a really, really good card. 30 gold badges, 8 Hoffs, one of the best pure shooting cards in the game. He doesn't really bring you a whole lot else, but he at least has gold clamps and some decent defensive stats. He's 6'7" with a nice wingspan too, so he plays okay defense. And honestly, as far as guys that you can pick up for under 15K, he's one of the best possible cards. Plus, you can find some with unlimited shoes, unlimited contracts, maybe a couple additional badges as well. On next gen, he's really, really good. On current gen, he's pretty good. Rudy Fernandez, you've seen his price dip and then pick back up a couple different times today. Kind of hard to predict what's going to happen with Rudy Fernandez. He's still kind of a meta card in air quotes, so his price is going to remain a little bit higher than someone like Glenn Rice, even though, honestly, these two cards aren't that much. I don't think Rudy Fernandez is that much better than Glenn Rice. I prefer Rudy Fernandez because he's more of a versatile card. He does a little bit more than Glenn Rice, but if you tell me that Glenn Rice is better than Rudy Fernandez for you, I'm not going to argue with you. They're very similar cards, especially in like their overall goodness, but one of them is, goodness is not a word. Rudy Fernandez is, for whatever reason, 25 to 30K, whereas Glenn Rice is almost 10K. Honestly, when it comes to that kind of difference, I would say go Glenn Rice. Thurl Bailey, same thing. Another card like that is Thurl and AK-47. Like, I prefer Andrei Karolinko, but if you're looking to get a budget big man for your bench, while I believe Andrei Karolinko is a little more versatile and therefore a little bit better, Thurl Bailey is 10K. So, and you can find ones with like unlimited contracts, extra badges, etc. for like 12K. And probably less, because I haven't even hit the 3-hour mark yet, and there's already ones up for 12K not bought yet. So I'm guessing they're going for even lower. And honestly, I'm probably going to go pick up Thurl Bailey for this price if he goes below 10K, because I'm guessing we're going to get some sort of Spotlight Sim thing in Season 5, which I have no confirmation on. It's just kind of a gut feeling I had. So he's a nice card for that. Geoff Petrie is right around the same price as well. If you're looking for a budget point guard, he's going for around 9K. Super good deal. I'm going to talk about the lower guys later, so like your Amethyst and Rubies. So this is how you can tell the packs are trash. Kyrie is featured heavily in the packs. Granted, he's a glitch card, so he will drop a little bit less than standard other pink diamonds, but still, like, he hasn't even hit buy it now status yet, which is kind of crazy. He's still one of the best point guards in this game. Once again, he's not a meta card, so people kind of don't talk about him very often, but he still really lights out defensively, great offensively. I know I see the one for 100K. I just don't think I should buy it because he's going for like 110, so I don't even think I'm going to clear on that if I do buy it and put him up. Maybe I make a few thousand MT, but it's not really worth the investment in my point anyway. DeMarcus Cousins, still one of the best big men in this game, but you can see there's just not very many of them, so either people are holding on to him when they draw him, or he's just not dropping in these packs. Now, is he worth 80K? Yeah, he's a super good center. Honestly, I like him a lot. But at the same time, I'm cheap, and I like Dino Raja, so I'm picking Dino Raja over him. Zion is still 100K, which is... Hey, if you're a big Zion guy, I don't recommend picking him up just because I think we're going to get another Zion next season. As you can see, like, there's a crazy amount of Amethysts. Look at even Dino Raja, which in theory should be one of the hardest Amethysts to pull. There's still hundreds of Dino Rajas, right? So you can tell that these super packs are trash. That being said, though, Dino Raja is a steal for under 20K. I know there's been a lot of discourse, like I've said in the last couple videos, that like he's considered like a meta card, and that anybody who thinks he's good like doesn't use their own brain or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Dino Raja is still the best possible big man you can buy for 20K. I don't really care what anyone says. I personally think he's the best big man you can buy for under 50K. He's still my starting center. Even though I have enough MT to buy any center in the game, I still use Dino Raja. So I don't think it's really that big of a deal to spend 20K on this card. Worst case scenario, you spend 20K, get some Amethyst only challenges, and get him out of the way. I'll be talking about Markelle Fultz a little more at the end of the video. Like I said, I'm going to run down all the budget guys because they're all stupid cheap right now, except for a couple of them. So, Retro 2K, Lonzo Ball. See, this is another reason I can tell these packs are trash. Lonzo Ball was down to 70K last week, right? During the Lunar New Year drop. And then Super Packs come out where he's back in the packs again with only like 6 days separating him being in packs and not in packs. And he's still barely under 100K. So you know he's not dropping at all. Granted, he is an incredibly good card, so maybe a lot of people are keeping him, but this is very telling to see a card that's been in 2 different packs in a 10-day span still going for 90K. Not great. Now, Giannis could potentially be... buy it now. It's kind of depending. There are a lot of them, so he seems to be dropping pretty frequently from these packs. He seems to be one of the easiest to draw pink diamonds, or he's a very divisive card, so maybe a lot of people are putting him up because they know he's going to be going for a lot. Could also be an issue that people just don't think getting rid of Lonzo Ball is worth only 90K, which is a good thing. But with as many Giannis's, are up right now. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go drop by now. I don't think he goes down below 90K, but if you're a big Giannis fan and this is a card you've been pining after for a while, dropping 90K on it, not a bad idea. He's going to be usable for a long period of time. I mean, the other pink diamond's still technically usable, so Steph Curry, a lot of Steph Currys. You could see him drop down to 40K or so. If you're a big Steph guy, not a terrible card to pick up. Now, I will say right off the bat, like, Steph's fun and everything, but if you're not really, like, people talk about how Steph Curry is like a meta card, and he's the most unstoppable offensive point guard in the game, especially on next gen, whatever. Okay, somewhat accurate, but if you're not confident with dribble moves, like if you can't pull off multiple Curry slides in a row, he's not worth buying. Like, I can't. That's why I don't use Steph cards. I'm just not that good of a dribbler. All the throwback cards are cheap as well, so if you've been looking at any of these guys, they don't seem to be dropping a lot, though. Like Ben Gordon, a lot of people must be keeping him. I'm guessing some of these guys are going to be expensive because a lot of people that picked him up locked in for Clay, so there's not going to be a lot on the marketplace. Bradley Beal, I should not have sold that for 100K buy it now earlier, but I really thought he was going to be buy it now all day, so that was a tactical error on my part. That being said, if you're a big Bradley Beal fan, dude, pick him up. My team's all about having fun, man. Like, use players you like, use cards you like. It doesn't matter. Like, is it a great investment to buy him at 100K right now? No. Is that a big deal? Also, no. Who cares? Like, I'm about to spend 70K on Steve Francis just because I love Steve Francis. So, I'm probably going to spend 75K on this card just because I'm a big Steve Francis guy. I could sell LaMarcus Aldridge right now, but I'm a LaMarcus Aldridge fan. So if you're a LaMarcus Aldridge fan, it's the best possible time to buy this card, at least in the realm of him being usable in-game. Hate Tom Chambers, but he has a mullet and he dunks and he's a white guy. I got to keep him, so there's nothing I can do. John Stockton, he's still, like, pretty slept on. He's one of the better point guards in the game. Bob McAdoo is not buy it now. Okay, Smush Parker. I've been seeing a lot of discourse on Smush Parker on Twitter as well. I'm guessing the two most divisive cards in 2K right now are Dino Raja and Smush Parker. Smush Parker is not worth 20K. I just don't think he really is. He's a very good card, and if you're lights out with Tracy McGrady or Trey Burke base, then to that extent he might actually be worth 20K, but he's being charged a premium price right now because of the hype from My Team creators. It's pretty much his height is about 75, his price is 75% hype, only like 20% actual good, if that makes sense. If you're a big Gilbert Arenas fan, I know the other day, or yesterday, wow, it felt like forever ago, I said to pick up the Flash Pink Diamond. No, pick up the Diamond. He's only going for about 10K right now. Anthony Davis isn't dropping at all from these packs. He's still going for about 500K. Yao Ming seems to be dropping pretty frequently, but that's because Lunar New Year are still active as well, so there's just a lot of them. Same with Jeremy Lin. They're going for not that much. I don't think we see Jeremy Lin hit by now. We could see him hit like 120, 130 by the end of the night. Definitely worth it. Danny Granger is in these packs, and still there's like no Danny Grangers up. I think the lowest one's 78, which is basically what he was going for the other day. So Danny Granger had no change whatsoever, which is crazy because I assumed that these packs would drop the pink diamonds like crazy and the opals would be the ones that are going to be hard to get. But nope. Yi is ridiculously cheap right now because he isn't in 2 packs, like I said. So you can pick up Yi for 15K, and that's an absolute steal. I recommend most people do that. He's so good. Same with Jared Solinger. You can pick him up for 2,000 MT. I'm going to try to buy Tracy McGrady tonight. It's not going to be a fun thing because I have almost 900,000, but he's going to be going for around 5, and I don't think it's a smart decision on my part to use that much MT to buy this card. But you guys subscribe to my channel. You know I'm like a huge, massive Tracy McGrady stan, so that's kind of what I mean by buying cards, even if it's not a smart investment that you want to play with. I love Tracy McGrady. I'm going to go buy that card, even if it's not smart. Like, it would be really unsmart for me to buy LeBron because I don't like LeBron James. Like, as a card, I'm not a huge LeBron guy. So it's like, that investment of 600K means nothing to me. The investment for Tracy McGrady, who I actually have been a huge fan of since I was like 7, that makes a lot more sense. It's worth 500K at least in sentimental value. Kristaps Porzingis is buy it now. With DeMarcus Cousins, I think Kristaps is one of the better big men that you can buy right now for under 100K, and I stand firm on that. So we're going to look at some of the budget guys. Jarrett Jack is dropping like absolutely crazy from these packs. If you don't have Jarrett Jack, you can pick him up for 900 to 1,000 MT right now. I think this is a card everyone should have. Great card. He is kind of he's not really a meta guy. He has a fast jump shot, and he's got good badge count and evos. Just be a good idea to pick him up for limited and stuff in the future. I know I've talked about him a lot. Bonga. Personally, I like Jarrett Jack more than I like Bonga. Bonga's a great card for a lot of people. He's got, especially if you run rim and stuff, he's a great point guard, especially at the Ruby tier, but I just don't know if you're looking for like a Ruby point guard and you already have Markelle Fultz, for instance. I don't know if it's worth paying almost $4,000 for Bonga when Jarrett Jack's there for 1,000. I think Jarrett Jack's just as good. I prefer to use Jarrett Jack, to be honest. So it's all about your preferences, but picking up Jarrett Jack regardless for 1,000 is not a terrible idea. Mo Bamba is a really good card to pick up. I think, once again, this is another card I think it's wise for everyone to have this guy. Just because if you watch my pack opening, I talked about how I think the Ruby tier is going to be kind of sparse this next upcoming season. I think we're not going to get a lot of Ruby cards. So picking up one of the best Ruby big men for 2,000 MT is going to be smart because we're not going to get a whole like swath of new Ruby cards, possibly some Evo ones, but that's about it. And that's only going to be in large promos. So picking those guys up now before they become extremely rare is going to be smart. Brian Russell, once again, everyone should pick this dude up for 1,000 MT. Like, he's absolutely worth that price tag. One of the best pure 3-and-D guys in the game, especially at the Ruby or even Amethyst tier. This guy's a staple on both my Ruby and Amethyst squads. And even if you don't use him as a main scoring option, his defense alone is worth having in case you need it. Now, if Jarrett Jack and Bonga are not your cup of tea and you're looking for more of a pure shooter, somebody who's a little fast, more of a traditional point guard type, glitched Markelle Fultz is still out here and he's still ridiculously cheap. You can pick him up for about 2,000 MT, about 2,700. He's still really good. He got forgot about because we had so many good like Ruby point guards this season. And Markelle just kind of fell to the wayside, but he's still so good. Like, so good. So we're going to look at just Amethyst 3,000. Honestly, Scott Skiles, especially if you're looking to fill out an all-time Magic roster, one of the only Magic point guards we have available. Super good card. He's basically the same as Amethyst Chris Paul. They have the same SIGs and everything. He's just got a little bit better badge count. Blake Griffin, another card that you can get him for about 1,500 MT. Totally worth it. Glenn Robinson, Michael Carter-Williams, also about 1,500 MT. Still great cards. Like Michael Carter-Williams is still a wonderful card. Brian Scalabrine you can get for about that price as well. He's one of the best pure shooters in this game, let alone at the Amethyst tier. Al Harrington is about that price too. Definitely can fill out an Amethyst squad or an all New York Knicks lineup, or even a budget squad if you want to go that route. He does lack like some defensive badges, but if you're just playing against a CPU, it's really not that big of a deal. Brad Daugherty is one of the only Cleveland big men that you can pick up off the auction, so might not be a terrible idea to invest in him just in case you end up needing him for the future. Same with Ralph Sampson. Houston is like a really bad team this year as far as like cards that they're giving out. So it might not be a terrible idea to spend the 1,000 MT or so on Ralph Sampson, just so if we do get a challenge where you end up needing to use Houston players, you at least have a Houston big man that's not like Yao Ming or something. And against the CPU, realistically, like Ralph Sampson's not that terrible. So either way, I mean, I'm just trying to prep people for that because I think they are going to introduce that type of aspect into a domination, if not this season, the next season, where you have to use, similar to Spotlight Sims last year, a certain number of players from certain teams. If you guys notice, we didn't get any of the Moments cards in the Super Pack, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they dropped a Moments Super Pack tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not even kidding. And they would do something scummy as to put new Moments cards in the Moments Super Packs to try to entice people to buy the VC-only packs. They did it last year. They did it in 2K19. Be prepared for that. If you're a collector, you're going to have to spend VC only. But if you have any of these cards, wouldn't be a bad idea to sell them now while you still can at their full value. The market's not going to crash too hard for them. I don't think a lot of people are going to buy them, but they are going to take a little hit. So As always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes. I appreciate every single one of you guys on the channel. Thanks for watching the videos. I try not to be like other 2K creators, so don't hark on me too hard in the comments, but check my description. As always, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. I drop daily content, and I'll be back tomorrow.